Stephen, first of all, thank you so much for being here today at Brussels and giving me the opportunity to ask you a few questions before our big event called Safety First ? Starting with the very basic question probably for you, what stands behind neuroelectrics? What is it? How does it work?
Well, basically, what we're trying to do is change the way we treat brain disease. So this is something that's been done in a particular way for a very long time now, basically pharmaceutical. We're taking a new approach, treating the electrical brain by looking at brain activity and then modulating that activity using essentially electric fields that interact with the neurons. With that, we hope to change the way people think about the brain and also offer some new types of treatments.
How does it work in reality? I mean, if you can explain a little bit further.
What we actually do, so we have a cap with lots of little electrodes that inject currents into different parts of the cortex. And by controlling those currents individually, we can create an electric field as we want to target specific parts of the brain. And then we either inhibit activity or excite activity, depending on what effect you want to have. So we make it more likely that the neurons will fire or less likely. And then if you combine that with other types of treatment, and depending on where you stimulate and how, you get different effects. And right now we're trying it in various clinical trials for epilepsy, for cognitive impairment, looking at depression, pain, a whole range of things depending on where you stimulate and exactly how.
Today or tonight we are going to talk about security challenges, and obviously this is one question that pops out in our mind is, what if this technology is hacked? How do you deal with these security concerns regarding the innovation?
Well, we made a decision quite early when we were developing this technology that it would be a medical device. So it might seem obvious, but there was a choice. We could have been a more consumer type of approach or a medical device, and by choosing medical device, we're kind of submitting ourselves to the regulation around those devices. So we have no choice now but to make it secure and safe. And that's why we're doing the clinical trials. We can't launch it as a treatment until we've shown that it's both safe and that it works. So by kind of taking that path, we've ensured that whatever we develop will be safe. It could be done differently.
When we end up with our last question, I would love to know your vision, because technology in the health sector has so much potential. So what's your vision for the future when you think about your innovation, but also others in this field?
Yeah, well, we see this really as just the very first step in digital brain health. So we want to be able to interact with everything that's happening in the brain, personalize it, so it's a treatment specific to you, and have kind of a closed loop system where we can see how the treatment affects you and then update the treatment in real time. So you have this kind of system you can take home, put it on. It will essentially diagnose whatever is wrong with you, but specific to you, and then produce a treatment that will work much better for you than the average treatment ever could, essentially. So we're really aiming towards this kind of personalized digital health. This is just one component, the brain, but the same type of thing could be applied to the body in various different ways.
What would you say to people who are afraid of the future, who fear technology? In one sentence, what's your message to these people?
Well, I think the current treatments we have are not working. In our case, when I know more about brain health, 1 in 5 people are going to suffer from some sort of brain disease in their lifetime. As the population ages, this is going to get worse. We know the over 65s are more susceptible to these brain diseases. So if we don't do something different, we're going to have a huge social and economic crisis based on basically the cost of care of all these brain diseases in the future. So I really think we have no option but to explore other types of interventions and not just focus on basically the pharmaceutical industry and taking a drug and hoping for the best.
Okay, thank you so much. I think we end this interview with this very positive connotation. Thank you for your time, and I'm very looking forward to the discussion tonight.
Okay, happy to be here.